John, and I have with me my colleague Akhil George. The two of us will moderate this discussion that we are having in association with IBM. And we are going to discuss what I see as a very relevant and inspiring subject, how global capability centers or GCCs in India are transforming the global economy with AI. As organizations in the Americas, in Europe, and other parts of the world, the two of us will moderate this discussion that we are having in association with IBM. And we are going to discuss what I see as a very relevant and inspiring subject, how global... Is there an echo? I'm sorry, is there an echo?
Yeah, there was an echo and there was some repeat.
Repeat, no? I don't know why is that happening.
Seems okay now.
Yeah, okay. So, as I was saying, as organizations in the Americas, in Europe, and other parts of the world have been leveraging AI to drive innovation, improve processes, and elevate experiences, it is the GCCs, mostly based in India, that have played a key role in this adoption. And NASSCOM's and Zinov report finds that there are over 1,700 GCCs in India currently, with over 500 centers dedicated to AI and machine learning. This has resulted in unique stories of AI-led transformations in critical sectors, including manufacturing, automotive, retail, and travel and transportation. Today, we have with us representatives from 3 of the leading GCCs that have developed and perfected AI solutions right here in India, and which have had significant impact on a global scale. And we have IBM, which is helping GCCs down that path of AI-led transformation. We have with us Latha Chembakalam. Latha is Vice President and Head of India Technical Center at Continental Automotive. Continental is a German multinational automotive parts manufacturing company. It has a major GCC in India. In her current role, Latha is responsible for engineering competence for global and local markets. She focuses on automotive technologies that include autonomous mobility and safety, and vehicle networking and information business areas, and several centers of excellence in the new technology areas. Latha is also part of NASSCOM's Engineering and R&D Council. Welcome, Latha.
Thank you very much and happy to be here.
Thank you. We have Ganeshan. Mani is Senior Vice President of Engineering for Asia Pacific for Amadeus and Head of Amadeus India. Amadeus is a vital player in enhancing travel experiences worldwide. It provides technologies to airports, airlines, and to a range of areas in travel and tourism. With over 4,000 employees, Amadeus India has seen meteoric growth and has emerged into a major tech hub in just 12 years. The Bengaluru site is now Amadeus' second largest engineering hub, supported by growing teams in Pune and commercial operations in Gurgaon. Mani has played a key role in this growth. Welcome, Mani.
Thank you, Sujit. Happy to be here.
Thank you.
We also have Amit Kapur. Amit is Vice President of AI and Data Analytics Platforms at Lowe. Lowe is one of the largest home improvement companies in the US. Its GCC in India has seen rapid growth. Amit is part of the global technology leadership team, and in his current role, he modernizes and builds futuristic data and AI ecosystems. Amit joined Lowe in 2014 and it has been instrumental in setting up the Lowe India Center, along with several capabilities such as the Lowe Omni Order Management, Enterprise Order Repository, and Modern Data Ecosystem. Welcome, Amit.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
And we also have Santhosh Rao. Santhosh is partner and executive director and business unit leader for global capability centers at IBM Consulting, India and South Asia. Santhosh has 28 years of technology enablement experience, specializing in transforming client operations through IBM's comprehensive solutions. In his current role, he drives consultative sales and delivers transformation solutions to leading GCC enterprises in the region. Santhosh is a member of the prestigious IBM Global Industry Academy and is a recognized speaker at leading industry forums. Welcome, Santhosh.
Thank you. Looking forward for these conversations.
Those who are viewing this can send in questions through the Facebook comment box. Sujit and I will put them to Latha, Mani, Amit, and Santhosh. So why don't we just kick this off? The first question is for Latha, Mani, and Amit. Can you give us a quick glimpse into the evolution of AI adoption in your respective industries and the work around AI that your GCCs are doing and the impact this work has had on your global operations? Maybe Latha, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So if you look at the automotive sector at this point of time, AI is driving transformational changes. whether it is connected, autonomous, shared, or electric. In all the areas, AI plays a very important role. And I would probably categorize the impact of AI into two sides. One is inside the product and one is outside the product. So if you look at starting from the manufacturing processes, the improvement of supply chain, predictive maintenances, and prediction of supply chain disruptions, optimizing inventory management, quality inspection and manufacturing, there's a lot that is happening in the production side. Then when you look at the design side, there is also AI being used for offering some kind of a perfect balance between the aesthetics and practicality with the kind of eye-catching and aerodynamically efficient designs that is coming in. In the R&D space, there is a lot of use of AI in terms of efficiency. For example, AI for requirement engineering, for software testing, and others we use in a large thing. And in my GCC, I think this is something which we do a lot, also with partners across the globe. So this is outside the product. And when you come inside the product, especially when we talk about a product like autonomous vehicle, the driver recognition, driver monitoring, driver assistance, all these features are powered by AI. So at Tech Center, we are leveraging AI to enhance the vehicle intelligence, safety, and user experience across multiple domains. And I would say that in the autonomous vehicle side, it is basically AI sitting behind the steering wheel instead of a human. To that extent, we use. And whether it is, we are talking about our next-gen camera, they use AI to calculate the optical flow directly, reducing latency and improving the vehicle perception. We have collaboration with Google Cloud, which integrate Gen AI into the vehicle computers, enabling more intuitive interactions between the drivers and the vehicle. So which means that, in the terms of infotainment, navigation, and personalized driving experience, which is the in thing now, is actually augmented by AI. So when you look at the industry per se, there are three things which drive our industry. I would say one is safety, second is ease of use, and the third is joy of use. And in all these clusters, I would say that AI plays a very, very important role, especially in the personalization space as well. So even if you look at a simple thing like insurance, now we have AI-driven insurance solutions. So it's like an end-to-end, starting from manufacturing, supply chain, design, R&D, and inside the product, everywhere AI is inevitable at this point of time.
Any particular area that you're very proud of, something that work that you did in the center here, which had global implications?
Yeah, see, in TCI, we are responsible, we have global responsibility for radar as a product, and a lot of autonomous vehicle designs happen in India. 2,000 people work on the autonomous mobility area, and a lot of work happens in this area of the algorithms and the environment modeling and everything related to autonomous mobility. This is something which we do from India, and this is a matter of pride for our engineers to do it. And we are also designing products also for the India market. For example, the rider assistance system for two-wheelers. That's something which is also powered by AI. This is a product from the center itself. Yeah. So there are multiple examples that we work on.
So these would be solutions that various customers around the world could be using, is it?
Absolutely, absolutely. So in TCI, we work almost 90% of our business is for global customers, and around 10% is for the local market. So we work for customers across the globe, as well as product completely for the India market as well.
Money?
All right. So let's look at travel. So Amadeus is a technology provider in the travel space. Now, if you look at what's happening in travel is going through a massive transformation, right? We came from the day when an airline had an airline seat and it would offer it up to travel agencies, and that would reach the end traveler like me and you. But more and more, airlines are looking at how do I differentiate them myself, right? How do I attract and offer my inventory that I have in a very personalized way to travelers across the world, right? Now, they started on a journey and then they went into segmentation saying, okay, we look at travelers in Europe, we look at the Chinese travelers, or we look at the millennials traveling differently, we look at the religious groups traveling differently. So that's the evolution travel took. And then AI came along, and now the level of personalization that AI is unlocking for the industry is tremendous, right? We are reaching a stage where you're going to have an airline marketing to a segment of one, which is every traveler in the world is going to get a personalized offer from an airline. You go to an airline's website, you will see the website specifically almost made for you, right? It will have your travel patterns, your interests, your past history, and specifically the landing page will be tailored for you. This is what AI is unlocking, let's say, for airlines to differentiate themselves and personalize to a large extent, right?
Have you reached those levels?
Absolutely. We are already having airlines who you go to their website and you will see something that is extremely customized only for you, right? So that's on the provider space. Then when you look at the travel managers, the travel sellers, right? I mean, they obviously have a need to get really efficient so that they service customers in the most efficient manner, right? I'll give you an example of something that I'm sure all of us in this call would have struggled at some point, right? You booked a ticket, and for some reason you couldn't travel, right? And then you want to know how much money am I going to get back if I cancel this ticket, right? And obviously, most of us call our travel agent, and they take 15-20 minutes trying to wade through the plethora of rules that came into play when an airline ticket was sold to a traveler, right? And at the end, you're waiting in suspense, and maybe at the end of 20 minutes, they would tell you your refund is X. And of course, you're disappointed at that, right? But now, with AI, we can easily crunch through all the rules across a PNR and also the entire segment which airlines are selling, and give you that answer in immediately, right? In a jiffy, right? So this is what AI is unlocking and creating the efficiency for travel sellers, right? Then when you come to maintenance, when you come to how airlines can predict the fleet that they have, how they can predict the revenue optimization opportunities that they have, because they have a limited inventory, and they need to see how to segment this across economy, business, premium category, and so on and so forth. The revenue management is paramount for them, and it's an area that is scarce of resources, right? So again, AI techniques are getting applied very intensely to see how an airline can maximize its bottom line and top line, right? Using AI techniques. So these are some areas where we are seeing AI already transform the industry. And last but not the least is how Gen AI is transforming the way we shop and the way we experience travel, right? You no longer you need to go to a website and say, okay, this is my source, this is my destination, and this is my date of travel, right? You now can interact with an agent who can who's a bot, who's conversational, and you can list out your travel preferences saying, hey, I am looking to take a vacation in a sunny location, right? And the bot would have enough conversation with you and keep understanding your context, keep understanding your preferences. In the background, will massively crunch data around your social profile, the airline's appetite to meet that profile, and then offer you tailored services or tailored experience, which will actually be married between the travel options as well as the destination rich content, right? All this is getting unlocked with Gen AI now. So I'm giving only a few examples of how AI is coming in and transforming travel. And of course, Amadeus is at the forefront of that.
And the India Center is working on all of these areas?
Absolutely. The India Center, we have more than 4,000 engineers now. And when the India Center was created a few years back, we were powering the Amadeus mobile solutions. And then came the wave of the cloud. And Amadeus is again on a massive journey to go to a public cloud infrastructure of Microsoft. Again, the GCC is playing a critical role. And now the GCC is playing a critical role in AI. Some of the solutions that I mentioned are innovations that are happening from the India Center.
Okay. Any particular one that you're particularly?
The one that I talked about, which is crunching the PNR rules and telling a traveler your cancellation charge is so and so, or this is the travel policy that applied to you as a corporate traveler. Because again, if you're a corporate traveler, we all know there is rules that apply to corporate travel, which is at the headquarter level, a region level, a site level, and then a office level, right? And a lot of times they sometimes could also conflict with each other, right? And for a travel management company, it's very difficult to know how is the ticket booked and how are all the rules that have been applied. So this is an innovation that is coming out of the GCC today.
Already
It's
live
how
for
you-
the customers? It's already live.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Amit?
Yeah, so I'll start with a similar theme, I think, to, Mani, your point, and I think Latha, you also mentioned that, right? Hyper personalization is one trend, right? That is also very prevalent in retail. And I think traditionally retailers have always, been leaders in terms of using things for, especially ML in the past, right? For personalization, for search, for product recommendation, pricing the products, our demand planning, and especially at our scale, we carry, 40,000 SKUs in each store. We carry almost, about a 1.5 million on our .com, right? So we have to make sure our demand planning is really, really, nicely done. So from an industry perspective, in last couple of years, I found that things that changed from that perspective is, we saw retailers picking up creation of marketing content, that used to be highly manual or, through workflows. Now it is getting done through, through Gen AI. Product descriptions, validating your product content in terms of descriptions versus images, are those a match? Because those sometimes are a put off when, I go to a website, I see this is the image, but the description says something else. And then, the size and the dimension say something else. So Gen AI is helping a lot in terms of, bridging those gaps. Some of the clothing and other retailers, the virtual try-on experiences are coming up. Computer vision is getting big in terms of, product recognition, as well as, customer traffic within the store. And then lastly, I would say even, voice commerce, those are some of the trends which are picking up, within the retail industry that I've seen. Talking about Lowe's, for us, AI is not new. We have been doing AI, for a long time, and as we speak, also we probably have 50 plus models that are running, within our ecosystem. But let me talk about things that we are, doing from our GCC here. And I'll talk about three things that are, getting driven completely from here. So the first thing is, the entire data and AI platform work we are leading from here. We have our homegrown data, not the data platform, but the AI platform. And this AI platform, what it is helping us do is, fast track the capabilities that we are building. And this platform can be leveraged across the ecosystem, be it engineer sitting within, India center or somebody sitting in the US center. They can use the capability and very quickly build AI capabilities. So that has been a huge win for our GCC here.
So that's it. Sorry, what kind of platform is it? Is it a coding platform or a?
This is, this uses RAG-based architecture. We use open source models to, to build the platform. And I'll talk about one capability that has been built leveraging this platform as well as, in partnership with OpenAI, Sujit. So recently we announced Milo, MYLOW, our, AI Gen AI-based chat assistant. This was launched on our, online property, and heavy amount of work was done by, our center here. This tool is going to help, our customers, and we know that home improvement is very different than the traditional retail, right? It is highly complicated. It starts with the inspiration, then the customers will go research for their products, online. They may go into a store, talk to a store associate, get more information, then go back online or research, on the web, before they make a final decision, what they need to buy. So this chat assistant, what it can do is, let's say I want to lay grass in my yard, right? If you can go and ask a question about grass. You can also ask a question saying, I want to build a raised garden. It will give you the steps, it will give you a video, and it will also give you the products, which are Lowe's products. You can just click on the product, go and add to the cart. And we are seeing customers have started to do some of those things with chat assistant, right? And this work was heavily driven by my team here, from Lowe's India. The similar thing, because we have a same platform, is also being used for our associates in the store. So stores have their mobile devices. When a customer walks in, if the store associate needs to know about something specific on a product or availability of the product. Our stores are heavy, right? Our stores are very large stores, 110 square feet, right? So if you need to know something, it can give you answer on your fingertips. It can also give you an answer through voice, right? So that's the beauty of the product. Build it once and use it in multiple places. That's the second thing, Sujit. And then the last thing I will talk about is, the computer vision thing that I spoke about. We have done a lot of innovation with computer vision work at our center here. And, one of the things that we are right now testing in our stores is something called Dwell. So we have AI algorithms that, look at our sales pattern, looks at the store traffic. And if you have a very large store, sometimes customers are moving around in the aisles, figuring out something that they need to know. So the computer vision technology can send a signal back on the associate device that there is a customer looking for something. Can you go and help the customer? And that's something that we are right now testing in few stores. But we are seeing great success with all of these three programs that we have led from Bangalore.
Okay. You're also a big number in terms of engineers and all that in India now, is it?
Yeah, we have a decent size of team, Sujit, here. We also have a small team, that augments us on the US side, because we go to the store, we deploy stuff there. So we do have a smaller team here, but the majority of the work here is in India with our, core engineers, data scientists. We have a store lab built out of, our center here, which allows us to replicate the scenario that is there in the actual store.
I've seen that store.
Yeah.
Okay. Akhil?
Santhosh, maybe you can also jump in. Most enterprise in India, unlike most of the enterprise in India, GCCs primarily have technology at their core. What are you gathering from the conversations with GCCs who are driving AI adoptions for their global parent organizations?
Yeah, so I think you heard it, right? I think all of us in this session heard from our clients, Latha, Amit, and Mani, right? Calling out on how AI adoption is here and now. It's happening for specific business functions already, right? So if you're looking at it from a GCC evolution, I think we've seen the evolution of GCCs. First, it probably came in as global in-house centers, more of labor arbitrage and so on. Then they set up COEs, as you heard, in different areas. And now I basically believe they've all moved or already in the journey of transforming themselves very clearly as the extension of the enterprise. You heard it from our clients here. I'll also take two examples where we strongly believe GCCs as an extension of the entire enterprise have now moved towards GVC, which I call as the global value centers, right? How do they really bring business value and make that impact to their business as an extension of the enterprise? So that's the journey. While we heard on what's happening in Lowe's, what's happening in Continental, and what's happening in Amadeus, I also want to talk about two client examples, right? Everywhere we touched upon personalization, and personalization goes with effectively how do you really drive design, right? And right way back in the 1960s, Thomas Watson called out very clearly, our founder, saying good design is good business, right? If you really look at starting from a design perspective for customer experience, we are right now working with a large pharma healthcare client from North Americas, where in the earlier model, we touched upon, each of the clients who spoke here spoke about different personality, different segmentation, and so on. So if you've got to really go and drive personalization, you need to understand the persona. You need to also understand the journey map. In pre-AI days, it would have probably taken a couple of weeks and maybe months to come up with this whole journey map, personalization plans, and go into it. What we are working with this large pharma healthcare client, it's now in days. It's no longer months. It's basically weeks and days, where we are actually doing design with AI and design for AI. So that's a pharma and healthcare client on how we are bringing in the whole AI into design. If we really look at it from another client in the banking and also a large European industrial sector client, out there we are trying to drive AI adoption in terms of the entire software development lifecycle. Can we go into effectively bringing in assisted coder, or can we really look at an assisted tester? End of the day, the entire software development lifecycle needs to be predictable, needs to deliver good quality, as well as make sure that it is robust enough from a speed to market perspective. And if I really look at it based on the models, what we are working on with several clients, we are looking anywhere between 20 to 30% in terms of coding efficiency at scale, at good quality. Same with testing, where it is actually on the higher side, in the range of 30 to 40% efficiencies from that perspective. So that's something which we are taking to our clients. And the way we are trying to take this as labor-led is moving towards product-led in our journey, facilitating our clients. We are actually driving this through what we call as the science of consulting, effectively bringing our platform, which is called IBM Consulting Advantage, where all these assets accelerators are basically going in and facilitating our clients to effectively leverage this platform and move from this journey of GCC to GVC. So that's what we're working on.
And a lot of clients that, many want to work with you. There's a lot of interest in AI.
Significant, as we already heard from our clients. I took 2 other client examples. Lots of clients who are adopting AI, and from the IBM AI Adoption Index, India very clearly stands out. Almost 59% actively deploying, as you heard some of our clients talk about business solutions already. We are leading. 6 out of the 10 clients are already saying the India team is deploying AI solutions, which is going to impact their business. So very clearly, the adoption of AI is significantly happening with both our platform, which we called as the IBM Consulting Advantage, also with our ecosystems, where we actually take our framework and deploy it for our clients.
Santhosh, on the same time, since everybody is today talking also about agentic AI, what is your sense? Is that a big thing now?
It is definitely, right. I think the evolution, as Amit touched upon earlier, was about ML, right? ML moved towards AI moved towards Gen AI. Now we are in the evolution of agentic AI. I think it all goes into how do we effectively make sure the construct is right and you have the right governance around it, so that, right from data architecture, data quality, and governance is something which you take care. And it is happening. It is happening in specific business functions. If we really look at it from a HR, procurement, F&A, if you start looking at it, I think the very way agentic AI is coming into play in areas where it's clear on what are the rules to be followed, how we can make sure that the repetitive tasks can just be done through an agent, is basically up and running and is also working for us even internally as client zero for some of our cases.
Okay. Latha, Mani, Amit, I just wanted to ask you the same things. Yeah,
If I may, agentic AI, how does it transform travel? No, today and in the recent past, if you had to travel, you would go to a travel agency, be it an online one or a brick and mortar one, and give your travel preferences, and you would get a solution, right? And then you would iterate through it, and you would get the final travel experience that you look for. There are close to 7 billion travelers in the world today, right? And just imagine a world where every traveler would have their own agent who's working nonstop 24 hours to curate travel experiences for you in the background, nonstop 24/7, and present you those options. And maybe it's so personalized and so tailored to your needs that you would then go, right?
What to basically book the ticket, is it?
Exactly. And then be with you throughout the traveler journey. Again, I'm sure some of us have read the news today that Heathrow is going through a big disruption because there has been a fire in one of the electricity stations, and Heathrow is today shut off. Right now, just imagine the level of chaos that is happening in Heathrow, which is the largest or the second largest airport in the world, connecting the world. Right, that's where agents and agentic AI can help, because we can then start doing the disruption actions, and each agent can do their own reaccommodation, rebooking, readjustment of the ground transportation. So every traveler is not relying on the airline to do these kind of reaccommodations for them, but they manage this themselves, right? That's the power with which agentic AI can transform this industry, and we are already seeing the signs of that. Now,
already
for a technology provider like us,
it's becoming reality.
Absolutely. For a technology provider like us, it's posing a huge challenge, because all these agents eventually in the background is going to hit a system like Amadeus. And now not only do we have to optimize for data and optimize for access, but now we have to optimize for AI, right? Because we need to ensure that these billions of agents, whenever they get created, are not going to hit the system for the same needs at the same time and bring down the large platforms like us, right? So we are getting into a new world of agentic AI optimizations, right? So again, several transformations, but at the same time, challenges also at the same time.
Okay. Latha, anything on the supply chain, etc., where agentic AI is becoming relevant, or anywhere in your
Yeah, maybe some areas, yes, but what we have to understand is, compared to maybe the retail and the travel, we are talking about safety critical system. We are talking about human lives, right? So in certain areas to use it, there are limitations. But what I see is that in terms of, for example, when you're talking about intelligent transportation system, where we can talk about the optimization of routes and predicting the, the bottlenecks that we have in the traffic and all that, agentic AI is a potential use case. Again, in autonomous vehicles also going forward, this could be a use case, because perceiving the environment, when you talk about the autonomous vehicles getting, it's fitted with agentic use sensors, like I would call them agentic use sensors now, the lidars and radars and camera, to gather data from their surroundings, and these data being processed by some of the algorithms to look at the road conditions, pedestrians, potential hazards and everything, and ability to learn from this experience and adjust the trajectories. I think that's something where we can use, but it is not easy for an automotive industry to adapt it like other industries, especially since it is a safety critical mission, right? But if you're talking about supply chain, the HR system, the inventory control and other things, there are a lot of potential. But to put it inside a product, I think it needs a lot of validation in the future. Yeah.
Okay. Amit, anything by
Yeah.
way of agentic AI that you implemented already?
I think just one thing, I agree with Latha that, on this side, on the industry side, right? On the auto industry side, I think, they have taken the agentic AI to the extreme, right? Because autonomous cars is nothing but, agent driving your car, right?
Yeah.
However, one more thing that is extremely critical is that, they've put human in the loop, right? So if you are not holding the steering after 20 seconds, they are doing that validation, right? That, there is always a human in the loop. So that's super critical concept, Sujit, that, we believe is extremely critical. AI's evolution always has a human in the loop, right? And that's how I think it will continue to grow. Within our ecosystem also, we feel agentic AI is taking, shape. And, I'll take the example that Money shared in the, for travel industry. It can be just replicated for the home improvement industry, right? You have all the information for the home. And then based on that, what you can do is you can give recommendations. You're going to run out of your, filter for your refrigerator. You're going to run out of this supply, and all those can automatically, become your agent. So we are actively working on something on some of those similar concepts to make sure that, all these interactions on top of our data architecture, to Santosh's point, there is flexibility to build these agents, and then these agents will start to also interact with either an orchestrator or through to each other, right? So we do see that this thing taking shape in very near future.
Okay. Akhil?
Mani, maybe you can help us understand, like most GCCs, which primarily support companies in other countries and geographies, you also work substantially with Indian entities, right? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So again, being in the travel space, India is a large travel ecosystem. In fact, it is the fastest growing ecosystem in the world. India recovered the fastest after COVID and went beyond COVID. And now some of the largest airlines in the world are in India. Some of the largest travel agencies are in India, right? So, and we work with all of these customers in India. What we're trying to understand and work with them is the travel patterns of how Indians consume travel is a lot different than how it happens in possibly other parts of the world. One example I'll give you is what's happening in the Indian airports, right? Travel has recovered. You go to airports, you see large crowds of people wading through the entry to the airport, to the check-in, to the border control, and then boarding flights and so on. And that's a process that has a lot of friction, right? Now, what we're trying to do is heavily leverage AI to see if biometrics can solve the seamless flow of travel in the airports. And we are working with Indian airports. You will see that coming in the new airports of Noida and Navi Mumbai, where the process of moving passengers from the curbside to the air side is going to be seamless using AI techniques, using biometrics, facial recognition, interacting between the airline and airport systems with the border control systems, how to make all that extremely seamless so that the passenger can reach from the curbside to the air side within minutes, right? So
this
these are the solutions that we are exploring. Sorry?
It's an extension of Digi Yatra in some sense, is it?
Absolutely. And partnering with Digi Yatra and getting the airline data that is residing on platforms like Amadeus with the airport systems and the government systems like Digi Yatra, and blending all this together to reduce the friction in travel. So this is a classic example of something that we are working in the Indian ecosystem and using heavily AI techniques to do it.
Oh, wonderful. So a lot of two of those airports you said are going to use some of these things shortly, is it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Both this year.
Airlines are also customers of yours?
Absolutely. So Indigo is on the Amadeus platform. If you look at Air India is using the Amadeus systems. Air India recently started leveraging the Amadeus loyalty platform so that you can, for their Maharaja customers, they can release a specialized booking experience using AI techniques. So this is something that we are partnering with Air India also.
Okay. Latha, don't you have relationships with Indian automotive makers?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
But does AI kind of work at the moment? It's too early, is it?
No, for example, if you look at India in the autonomous driving space, L2 plus is coming common. Even though we imagine that India may not be ready for autonomous driving, it is a kind of a push market at this point of time. And with two of the major OEMs pushing their vehicles into the market now, there is a lot of traction in the ADAS side. And obviously, it is powered by AI. So we are having a couple of projects with the different Indian OEMs, especially the four-wheeler sector, there we are leveraging AI.
Okay.
How effective is it now, autonomous driving?
Pardon?
How is autonomous driving? What are the advancements happening there?
A lot, I would say, because I think L5 is, I would say that even if I have a crystal ball, I would say that it takes a very, very long time to come. But if you look at L2 plus, which include the autonomous, the automated parking and other features, this is coming to India very soon. And some of the OEMs have already demonstrated it in the Bharat Tech Show, and some of it are also powered by Continental. And then, if you look at L3, some of the features are also coming into the Indian industry. But, for India, you have it's a very unique market, unique driving conditions, unique road conditions, the cow crossing the road plus a two-wheeler, the lanes are not being followed. So it's a very, very complex. So sometimes on a lighter note, I tell that if you can really design a good ADAS system for India market, it can cover the rest of the world, right? It's so complex. So, and again, you have infrastructural challenges because we don't have, 5G everywhere, every part of the country. So there are a lot of challenges with respect to infrastructure and technology that we need to deal with. But the good part is that there is a lot of acceptance from the customer on these features, and L2 plus definitely is a topic. And even for the high-end two-wheelers, the the rider assistance systems, what we are using, which is again by the sensor fusion that we are from the multiple sensors we have, this is radar and camera and other things, will get popular. It's just a matter of time.
Latha, staying with you, just to shift the conversation a little on this, if an organization wants to adopt AI, I'm sure there's a lot of cultural changes that are required. Give us an idea. Is there resistance? You have to get people to do certain things that they're not doing earlier in significant ways?
Yeah, there are differences. So on a lighter note, I would say that, AI is like a genie. The genie is out of the bottle now. So we need to find, ways of taming it and using it to our advantage. Yeah. And here I think there is a lot of education also that is required to our own engineers to use it. So one is what you call as cultivating an AI embracing culture. So which is, focusing on the learning and innovation and promoting data literacy, because we need to have the skills to understand, interpret, and utilize data effectively, which is crucial for AI implementation, right? So this is a kind of a cultural shift that we need. Other thing is that I strongly believe that the organizational culture serves as I would call it a powerful amplifier for purpose and strategy. So the entire organization strategy and your AI strategy has to be aligned. So it can't, go this way and that way. So how do you actually have cultural values shape the AI attitudes itself? That's something which a lot of us are struggling with, right? Again, it talks about the ethical, emphasizing the ethical consideration, which is, again, even when you're empowering employees, fostering a growth mindset, we also have to talk about how exactly, we need to use AI responsibly. What is ethical AI, and and embrace AI as a partner. And we have to really give that assurance that no, AI is not replacing you, but we are using AI as a partner, as an enabler for efficiency for the product as well as for the development. So there's a mindset which is required to do this, and this kind of a cultural shaping is something which we are doing through constant conversations with the employees, and also with how exactly to use this technology to the large advantage of the enterprise. So that's something which we are focusing on in a large way. So I completely agree that there is a cultural transformation, a shift which is required to make this journey and to get the fruits, to the large extent.
What we say is AI won't replace humans, but people who leverage AI will replace humans who do not replace.
Leverage AI. Okay. You, Amit, want to add on the cultural side? How big a challenge is this whole mind shift?
I think change management is a big piece of it, Sujit. We say, when you are undertaking a AI transformation, and some of the studies have said, maybe around 30 to 40% is your tech plus data science and all of that and AI, right? But your 50 to 60, or even in certain cases to the extent of 70% is all about change management. Right. So and for organizations which are very, very large, older organization, right, there is certain way things get done, right? There's a lot of knowledge that is existing within the systems, right? People know how they operate. So to go and tell, now we have to take data-driven decisions, right? So we need to make sure that there is a change management that's done. So that's one piece of it. So one of the approach we take is to make sure that the business is always involved in decision making and leading these programs. So to acknowledge the significance of change management, Sujit, what our organization has done is, we have a framework. We launched the AI framework. And that framework is called, how we work, how we sell, and how we shop, right? So that's the framework we use. So how we work means it's for all our employees internally. AI is going to probably give us productivity benefits, various new means on how we will operate. How we shop is for our customers, and it's the Milo is one of the examples where our customers are going to change the way they interact with us and they shop with us. And how we sell is, which is for our store associates, our contact center associates. We also go to customers' home to sell our products, right, and services. So the AI products that we are building will fall into either of these frameworks, and that's the yardstick that we use. Because when AI came in, after the 2022 Chat GPT launch, I think it became very common. The common man was able to interact with AI, and then everybody said, "Yeah, give us more of AI," right? So that was a significant change that happened at that point in time. And the challenge, we were facing is everybody wanted to do AI, right? And how do you kind of control that flow of people, everybody trying to do, so much of AI? So this framework, will standardize things, within our ecosystem. And we will probably use standardized processes to see which areas we need to build stuff, leverage AI more right now versus later on. So that's the framework, that we have. But change management is a huge piece of, building AI within the enterprise.
If I can add a comment to that, I think, Amit, I really like the point what you brought about, the older the industry is, probably, the more difficult is the change management, especially coming from an auto sector, which is, a lot to do with the manufacturing culture and things like that. We have a lot of legacy systems in place, and then you have the real modern systems in place. So to bridge that and use AI, in all these places together and getting an ROI is really a challenge. Yeah.
Yeah. And then data literacy, right? Your the thing we spoke about, job displacements versus, AI is going to augment that. Those are huge role. And even within the tech side, right, there is a huge, transformation that goes in, right? From a traditional engineer, you move towards a AI engineer, right? There are additional skills. So there is upskilling, there is cross-skilling, all that goes into, this entire part of change management.
Akhil?
Santhosh, there's no acknowledged fact that adoption of AI in any form comes with its own risks and challenges. Can you please shed some light on this? And maybe help us understand why AI governance through a responsible AI framework is always spoken about as a viable solution.
Yeah. So Akhil, thank you. So I think we heard from Latha, Mani, Amit, right? Very clearly the culture, the importance of culture, importance of change management. We also heard on few of the key components about safety, security related aspects, right? So if you really look at it, some of the challenges, which are, I would say, from an IT traditional challenges, which we all spoke already, is the quality of data. Do we also have the right data architecture in place from that perspective, right? So those two things are very basic, foundational. Then you move on to skill, and we spoke about skill and skill gaps and how do we also bring in through this change management, not just from a skill gap perspective, but also enable the ability to have our staff or members move up the AI value chain and gain trust in their own self that this is something which is not going to displace them, but this is going to augment. Like I am okay to be an assisted coder, assisted tester. So take them through that journey. But if we really go back and what we heard here from our clients, and when we are working with several global clients, what we really have seen as biggest concern or challenge is, can we really trust the models? Is there confidence in the models which are coming in? We did hear Amit mentioning, right, which we have all been used to and we are familiar with, right? ChatGPT almost consumerized AI in its own way. But from an enterprise perspective, we really need to protect our own self and our clients from their enterprise IP perspective. That's exactly where the concern for most of our C-suite leaders who are on this call and others whom I interact with comes up, right? When we have also done a study with the IBM Institute of Business Value, what is really bothering or what's really keeping people up at night is several things. I'm using AI today, and do I have anything which can probably lead into impacting my brand reputation? Right? So that's a big question or a concern as they are going and adopting AI. The second thing is very clearly with respect to how do I effectively balance innovation with ethics? We heard about ethics and safety and security. So are there areas where we are really looking at it to make sure that the provenance of data, which is going to be the most important foundation for successful, ML, AI, agentic AI, is there an area where we can make sure that the provenance of data is very clear, crystal clear, right? Because we all know that it can lead to significant legal, regulatory issues, and more than anything, the entire brand reputation is at stake. Along with that, we spoke, I think Mani mentioned about it, right? As more and more AI comes in, more data comes in, the security angle is another big concern, which is where we feel the ability for systems to get hacked, ability to really get into trouble is again an area where it is of concern. So what we've been trying to do, again, as part of the IBM, service provider and consulting and technology aspects, which we continuously innovate, and we try to bring in our consulting advantage. What we've gone in is come up with a set of principles which we are driving as the framework in line with what Amit was mentioning, right? We call that, it's actually on my blazer today, responsible AI. There is a reason, and it's heavily weighed in for all of us as IBMer on the aspect of the importance of the responsible AI aspect. And what are those key, what I call as pillars of strength for making sure that we as AI agents facilitating our clients and our own team members are really trying to drive responsible AI. Very clearly make sure that the AI models are explainable, the AI models are fair. There are aspects of privacy which is being taken care. There is also aspect of robustness, which we really need to take care. And most importantly, we want to make sure that there is complete end-to-end transparency, right? If you really look at it from a transparency, that's where the provenance comes in. So if you look at these principles and try to drive this as part of your foundations when you're going through change management, the AI adoption, the data quality adoption, and the data cleansing, I think that whole journey is something which we feel very strongly as more and more we heard from automobile, home furnishing, as well as travel. We are seeing the adoption or movement towards what we strongly believe is domain specific models. It is no longer the generic which was available, which led to consumerization, but it's enterprise IP within a specific domain, and domain specific language models is where the evolution is going.
Santhosh, despite all the best practices and all of that, do you still see that when you actually deploy it, there could be, I don't know, a hallucination, some mistake and all of that, those kinds of things happen? Do you have to constantly fine tune those things? How does it, or can you ensure that when you deploy, it'll be absolutely perfect?
So I'll take about there was a reason why I called out one of the pillars being fairness, right? I think the fairness, when we are really looking at it, we actually need to make sure that while we have our own products and solutions, right, from a watsonx.data or watsonx.ai, the most important there is the watsonx.governance. Very clearly, the reason why we are emphasizing on governance is to make sure that the fairness doesn't become a principle, but actually has the right required filters to prevent bias or prevent hallucination. So in our algorithms, if there is a trigger, very clearly, that triggers to make sure that that deployment really doesn't happen of such modules. So those are things which we actually try to bring in as part of our governance to prevent these from happening.
Latha, Mani, I'm just asking, so same thing. Where one is when you are deploying, do you at all get worried that it might go and do something stupid? And how do technology companies like IBM help you through all of this? Latha, you want to take a shot?
Yeah. So I think it is very much in line with what IBM does, and we are also IBM customers. Yeah. So responsible AI, it's basically, I would tell that it is makes it possible to consider the societal, the moral, and the legal values while designing the system. That is pretty much important, right? And especially when you talk about again a sector like autonomous vehicle and so on, responsible AI is critical to ensure safety and public trust. Once it is gone, I think the business is finished, right? So responsible AI ensures that these technologies are kind of developed and deployed, I would say ethically, and then as for focusing on elements like fairness, transparency, and accountability. When you talk about privacy, that becomes very important, especially in the autonomous vehicles and the connected vehicles. The data privacy is a big concern among the public as well as the consider as well as all the consumers. So the AI system should protect the personal data, ensuring compliance with regulations like GDPR and CCPA. Similarly, when it talks about the accountability, also the developers as well as organizations like us must take the responsibility for their actions of their AI system. So we can't tell that AI hallucinates, but finally the accountability remains with us. And most important is also the robustness and the safety, which is also, I would call it categorize it under a responsible AI, that all the models must be reliable and function correctly in the real world. A lot of dynamic environment, especially in critical applications like the autonomous vehicle. So this, I think, very well very well known. At the same time, we need to have a lot of cross-disciplinary collaboration, which actually help us, which means that AI engineers, the safety experts, the collaboration partners like IBM, we all have to work together to build systems that adhere to this ethical standards and comply with regulations. And also, we also use a lot of audits and monitoring to identify as well as mitigate the risk. So for us, I think there was a lot to learn from the IBM's AI ethics board, which is there, and the ethics governance framework which they had done. So I think there were a lot of conversations which we had with them, which has also helped us to look at our own framework and the partnerships together. Yeah.
Okay, Amit.
Yeah, you know what, Sujit, as humans, we have our own conscious, unconscious biases. And as we build and bake these models, some of this does go into that, right? So, to your point on hallucinations, can we avoid that at this point in time completely? I don't think so. All AI models, whatever testing we do, when you ask a question where it is not able to find something, it will hallucinate, right? It will give you an answer probably, which is so what we do is how we try to control that is we put guardrails, right? We put guardrails. We put content moderation, techniques in there, right? And so new, we also say, is AI going to take jobs away? It is also going to create new jobs, right? There are new kinds of testing that you will probably end up doing on this, right? So what we try to do is when we are baking models, right? There is proper observability, there is proper traceability to each and every call that goes through the model, right? And then there is audit mechanisms, right? And then you can kind of put a feedback loop back into your model when you see that the model has probably not answered the way you wanted it to answer, right? So there are checks and controls that we have to put in addition to building these models. But the other point that Santhosh made on the security and safety also is a key concern, right? Because through English language, you can ask a question, bypass the prompt, and then it can result into your data poisoning, jailbreaking, prompt injection. All of those are things that will start to happen, and you don't need to code for that, right? You are just using the English language, interacting with that. And so there are new kind of activities, new kind of challenges, this new technology will throw at us. And that's how I think for us, governance is a key piece of the entire ecosystem that we are building to take care of protect our customer data, to make sure that there is proper auditing, traceability, observability, all of those we bake into each of the work streams that we carry proactively as the project gets started.
Okay, Mani?
From our side, again, the guiding principles that Amadeus has very well echoes with what Santhosh said. We have fairness, safety, transparency, explainability, and so on as our guiding principles as we innovate using this new technology for the travel industry, right? Where we see companies like IBM bringing value is the learnings that IBM has with its vast client base across various sectors, right? How they can transition those learnings to a customer like us who's specializing in one industry, which is travel, right? So that's one of the power of IBM that we can leverage. The other one is, of course, being a large technology player and a diverse set of clients. How can we partner with IBM and IBM partner with us to start influencing possibly regulations, how governments look at innovating at AI and so on. So those are some of the areas where we see nice collaboration with a company like IBM.
Wonderful. I know we are almost out of time, but a quick one. There's this question from Abhi Kanodia asking, how are you preparing and training your engineering teams to work along with AI? I know you kind of mentioned it in the context of the other question, but anything specific you want to add to this?
So again, we are one of the largest deployments of Microsoft Copilot. So very early on, we just let the engineers play with it. We got an enterprise license, and now it's deployed by all engineers. And we are observing. We are seeing what is the efficiency that they gain from it. There is the initial euphoria that it's gaining us 30%, 40% efficiency, and so on. And then now it's coming back to some reality, and we're just letting engineers play with it and creating enough forums in the company where they share experiences to see how we meaningfully arrive at some efficiencies that is a common base.
Okay. Amit,
if I can take that,
yeah.
we are in the business of making sure that the talent is always ready for the market reach, right? So while we have a very clear talent, training and education program, the way I mentioned about our IBM Consulting Advantage platform is basically bringing in assets, accelerators, and assistants. So a developer can leverage this platform to be more efficient as a developer. A tester can use this platform to be efficient as a tester. A designer, I took the example of a client, can be a much more better designer and do the work in much faster time. So these are things where it is making them learn and adopt, as well as we have a very clear structured badging mechanism go through the step ladder of AI journey towards, almost feeding it back into our platform that they have actually developed an agent which is certified by our AI architect that it is ready to use. So these are things which we are also taking through our talent pool.
Okay.
I will just add maybe a couple of things. Most of the things are similar, Sujit, but one of the core things for us as an organization is continue learning, right? That's one of our values, right? And we really, do various means through which we provide back to the employees. It could be a formal education. Some people have gone out and then, done formal courses. We do on the job, right? We do cross-skilling. And I'll tell you, talent transformation is not new to us, right? We have been a legacy retailer and we have modernized our entire ecosystem to modern rails. So we went through a huge transformation at that point in time. And we use a mix of things. We have means where people can learn at their own pace. We have a data literacy program that we do. And what I mentioned is, we do on the job, we do cross-skilling, we do mentorship. So there are various mechanisms that are available for folks to, learn. But I've realized that a lot of times this time, people are so enthusiastic about AI. Many of them learn on their own through the web, and then they say, I'm AI skilled.
That's nice. Latha, final word. Your advice to youngsters in this age of AI, what should they do?
Yeah, for me, I completely agree with what Amit told. I think continuous learning, the way the technology is changing, the way the businesses are changing. Forget excelling. Even if you want to survive in any industry, you need to continuously learn. And I think AI is, as I mentioned, the genie is out of the bottle. We need to really use how to harness the power and the potential of it. And there are many ways of doing it. So for me, it has to start from also the leadership. So I insisted that myself and all my leadership members, all of us are trained and certified in AI, even though we are an automotive company. And I think, this culture has to flow down. And I think, that, and then again, the importance of responsible AI and what are the limitations of this technology also has to be known while, defining and developing the system. So continuous learning is the key. and use it responsibly. That would be my final word.
Okay, it has to be top down, but as Amit also said, everybody seems to be jumping into it. All the youngsters seem to be wanting to learn AI, and that's also probably the reason why the GCCs in India are becoming the flagship centers from where AI solutions are being developed. Thanks a lot to Santhosh, Mani, Amit, Latha for a great discussion. I think GCCs are going to be a big story for India for a long time to come. More and more GCCs are coming into India, and more and more to do precisely this kind of work. Exciting times ahead. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
It was
Bye.
a pleasure. Thanks.
Bye.